Today we're making a flower granny square, and these flowers are a bit raised, so they're sort of 3D, and the free written pattern is in the description, and I will also be making a tote with these granny squares, so be on the lookout for a tutorial coming very soon. Each granny square is about 15 grams of yarn, and for the base I'm using Big Twist Favorite Cotton in the color cream. And also for the center of the flower, I'm using Re-Up in Mineral Springs, and then the flower is going to be in Surf Spray. So these are both medium weight yarns, and this one is 100% cotton. This is part cotton, part polyester, and I'll also be using the 4.5mm hook, some scissors, and a yarn needle. We're going to start with the center of the flower, so I have my brown yarn. And to start it, you can make a magic ring, but I'll be showing you a different way. We're going to make a slip knot. So we're going to lay the yarn over our hand and then hold the yarn with our thumb. Make sure you have a good amount to sew in later. Then grab the top, wrap it around 2 fingers to form an X, and you can hold it with your pinky. Then with your hook, go under one side of the X, then over, grab the other side, and pull it through. Remove your fingers and tighten the knot. Now we're going to chain 4. To chain, yarn over and pull through. Again, yarn over, pull through. And we're going to do 4. And if you find that round 1 is hard to put into these 4 chains, you can do chain 5 instead. So now we have 4 chains, and we're going to slip stitch to the first chain we made to form a ring. So we'll go over and into the V, and we'll also go under the loop behind the V. So we have these 2 loops on our hook. And then we're going to use our middle finger and our thumb, and we're going to grab our 4 chains and our loose end and pull it away from the hook. So you see a little space here. And we're going to yarn over, pull through, and through the loop on our hook. So now we're pinching the center of this ring. And this is where we'll work our first round. So to do round 1, we're going to chain 2 to start the round. And we're going to do 12 double crochets into the center of this ring. To do double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook into this ring, yarn over, pull through, and you should have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's our first double crochet, and we're going to do another one, so yarn over, insert your hook back into the ring, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, then yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now I have 2 double crochets, and we're going to do 12 total. So I'm going to do 10 more until I have 12. And you might notice that it's getting crowded, so you can sort of push the double crochets over to the right. And before we do our 12th double crochet, we're going to get our petal color ready so we can switch colors. So for our 12th double crochet, we'll do the double crochet as normal except for the last 2 loops. So we'll yarn over, insert our hook into the ring, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and once we have 2 loops left, we're going to drop our brown yarn and pick up our new yarn, loop it onto our hook, and then pull that through those 2 loops. And then we can tighten everything and make sure that your green loose end is long enough to weave in. And now we have our 12 double crochets and we can slip stitch to close the round. And to slip stitch, we're going to look for the first double crochet of this round. So here is the chain 2 that we made in the beginning. And then to the left of it is our first double crochet. We're going to go under the V at the top of this first stitch. Then yarn over with the green, pull it through and through the loop on our hook. And when we tighten the green loose end, the slip stitch will tighten. And now we need to tie the green loose end to the brown working yarn. So we'll tie a tight double knot. And that'll secure the yarn ends. And now we can cut off our brown yarn. We'll make it about the same length. Now we have round 1 finished, but we can close up the hole in the middle by pulling on the brown loose end we left in the very beginning. So the one near the middle, we're going to pull on it to tighten the hole in the middle. So now there's no hole, and our first round is finished. Now we're going to start round 2. And every time we start a new round, we'll chain 2. And we're going to do a popcorn stitch in every stitch around. And to do a popcorn stitch, we're going to do 4 double crochets in the first stitch. This one here. So we'll go into this stitch and do a double crochet. If you want to carry your yarn in your stitches, you can grab them and then put it over your hook and do a double crochet. And this is optional, you can just leave them to weave them in later. So again, we'll yarn over, go back into that same stitch, make sure our loose ends are over and not under our hook, and do a double crochet. So that's 2, and we'll do 2 more until we have 4. Now we have our 4 double crochets, and to complete the popcorn stitch, we're going to pull on our hook to bring up the loop, and we'll stick our finger into the loop to hold it. And then we'll take our hook and go into the first double crochet we made. So there's 4 of these V's. We're going to go into this one all the way on the right, go under the stitch, and then we're going to put our hook back into the loop. Like that. Take our finger out and we'll tighten the loop around our hook and then pull it through like that. And then we'll chain 1 to lock it in. So there's our first popcorn stitch. And we're going to do that in every stitch all the way around. So let's do that one more time. We're going to do 4 double crochets into the next stitch. So go under this V of the next stitch, and we're going to continue carrying our loose ends. And we'll do a double crochet, and we'll do 3 more until we have a total of 4 double crochets in this one stitch. So there are our 4 double crochets. We're going to complete the popcorn stitch by pulling on our hook, putting our finger in through the loop, and holding the loop with our finger. We'll go into the first double crochet, put the loop back on our hook, tighten it, and pull it through that first double crochet. And then we'll chain 1. So now we've done 2 popcorn stitches, and we're going to continue doing a popcorn stitch into every stitch all the way around. And remember to carry your yarn if you don't want to hide it later on. And when you pull through the first stitch, you can sort of use your finger in the back and push the stitches in the middle forward so you don't catch on those stitches and it's easier to pull it through. And then chain 1. So 2 quick notes. First, make sure that you don't miss a stitch because when you do a popcorn stitch, it can sort of cover the next stitch. So you want to pull it over like that and make sure that you don't miss it. Otherwise, you'll have the wrong number of stitches. And the second thing, once you've covered most of your loose end, make sure you tighten it a little bit, otherwise it can bunch up under our stitches, and also right here you can see it's sort of bunched up. We're going to pull on it a little bit, just so it's taut. And then this one too. And make sure it's not too tight, and we can just continue working and finish covering up the loose ends. Now we should have 12 of these popcorn stitches. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If you're missing one, then you might have missed a stitch, and if you have an extra, then you might have put 2 into 1 stitch. And now we're going to slip stitch to close the round. So we're going to look at the first popcorn stitch we made, this one here, and at the back you can see this V here to the left of the first stitch. This one here is the chain one we did, and then this space here is the first stitch. So each popcorn stitch has 2 stitches at the top, one here and one here. We're going to go into the one on the right. So we're going to go into here and just go under this loop, and we'll do a slip stitch. So again, we're going to yarn over, pull through the loop in our hook, and tighten it. So there's round 2 done, and now we have our flower, and now we can start working on building the square around the flower. So we're going to grab our base color yarn. Mine is beige. And to change colors after our slip stitch, we're going to grab our new yarn, hook it onto our hook, and pull it through the loop on our hook. Then we can tighten the green, make sure our beige has a long enough loose end, and then we can tie the beige and the green together. And then we can cut our green yarn. And now we'll do round 3. And we're going to work into those 2 stitches at the top or at the back of each popcorn stitch. So remember I said at the back, each stitch has a stitch on the right and a stitch on the left. And then a stitch on the right, stitch on the left. And for this round, I'll also be carrying these 2 loose ends. So to start the round, we're going to chain 2. And that same stitch that we just slip stitched to is going to be the first stitch of the round. And we're going to do a double crochet into this first stitch. So yarn over, go into that same space. And that's to the right of the first popcorn stitch. Make sure we carry our yarn and then do a double crochet. Next, we're going to do a half double crochet, and we're going to work into the next stitch of this popcorn stitch. So we'll yarn over, and instead of going under this V, which is a little tight, we can go into this space here. So this big space between the popcorn stitches. And make sure we're carrying our yarn. Yarn over, pull through. Now we have 3 loops on our hook, and we'll yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And that's a half double crochet. Next, we're going to do a single crochet, and we're going to work into this space here. So again, every popcorn stitch has a space to the right of it and a space to the left of it. So we'll go into this space here. Make sure we're carrying our yarn. Then yarn over, pull through. Now we have 2 loops on our hook. We'll yarn over, pull through the 2 loops. And that's a single crochet, and we're going to do another single crochet in the next stitch. Open this up, insert your hook into this space, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the 2 loops on your hook. So again, we did a single crochet here and then another single crochet in the next stitch. Next is going to be a half double crochet. So again, we're working into this next space and we'll yarn over, insert our hook into this space, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So our next stitch, we're going to do a double crochet. So we'll go into this big space and do a double crochet. And now we have a flat side of our square, and now we know how to do a double crochet, a half double crochet, and a single crochet. And we're going to repeat these stitches for each side of our square. But in each corner of the square, we're going to chain 2. And then we'll start repeating the double crochet, half double crochet, single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet. So now we'll move on to the next stitch. So we're going to do a double crochet first into the next stitch. And then we'll do a half double crochet. And then a single crochet. And then another single crochet. And then a half double crochet. And then a double crochet. So now it looks like this. We have one side of the square and then our second side of the square. And remember, in the corners we chain 2. And we'll start that pattern again. So next stitch we'll have a double crochet. And then it's a half double crochet. And then a single crochet. And a single crochet. Then a half double crochet. And a double crochet. So now 3 sides of our square are done. And we'll do our final side by chaining 2 and doing a double crochet, half double crochet, single, single, half double, and we should reach the final stitch of the round and do a double crochet. So now we have our 4 sides, and we're going to chain 2 for the corner and slip stitch to the first stitch we made. So there's our chain 2, and then our first stitch will go under the V at the top, slip stitch by yarning over, pull through, and pull through the loop on our hook and tighten. So there is our 3rd round of our granny square. And it's not perfectly square, but as we add more rounds, it'll straighten out a little bit. Now to do round 4, we're going to chain 2. And for this round, each of these corner spaces where we chain 2, we're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets to increase the size of the square. But since we're starting our round just after this corner space, we're going to do half of that. So we're going to do 2 double crochets into this space. So we'll yarn over, go over into this space, and do a double crochet. Then we'll do another one into this space. So that's just half of the corner, and we'll finish it once we go all the way around and and get to the end. Now we'll start working across this side of the square, and the first stitch where we slip stitch 2 is right here, and it might be hidden, so you might want to pull these 2 stitches over. And we're going to do a double crochet into every stitch along the side. So we'll go into this first stitch and do a double crochet, and do a double crochet in the next stitch, and all the way across. So now we've done those 2 double crochets in the corner, and then 6 double crochets across the side. And remember I said earlier, we're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets in the corner. So we'll go into this corner and do 2 double crochets. And then chain 2 for our new corner, and 2 double crochets into the same space. And now we can start working along this other side of the square, and make sure that you don't miss the first stitch, because our 2 double crochets here might be hiding it. So you can push that over, and that's our first stitch. So we'll do our 6 double crochets across this side of the square. So now we've gone across the side of the square, and we have another corner space. And again, we'll do 2 double crochets. And then chain 2 and 2 double crochets. Now we can work across the next side of the square, and again, make sure you push this over so you don't miss the first stitch. And then we'll do our corner space. Then we'll do our 6 double crochets across. And now we're at the corner space that we started the round in. And remember, every corner has 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. And we started the round with 2 double crochets in the corner, so we just need to complete it by doing 2 double crochets and a chain 2. So 2 double crochets, chain 2, and we already have our 2 double crochets here, so we're going to slip stitch and finish the round. So insert your hook into the first stitch and do a slip stitch. So that's our 4th round. And every round to increase the size of the square is going to work the same way. Each corner has 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, and we'll just do 1 double crochet into each stitch along each side of the square. So round 5 will go chain 2 to start, and in the very beginning we're going to do 2 double crochets into this chain space here. And then we'll work along the side of the square. And there's going to be 10 stitches in the middle. So 2 in the corner space, 10 in the middle. And then in every corner space, we'll do our 2 double crochets. chain 2, 2 double crochets. And then we'll do our 10 stitches across the side. Do our corner, 10 stitches, corner, 10 stitches, and at the end I'll show you again how we'll finish the round. So once we reach the end and after we've completed the side of the square, we're going to complete this corner by doing 2 double crochets. Then chain 2, and slip stitch to finish the round. So now our 5 rounds are finished and you can fasten off now or you can continue adding rounds to make the square bigger. And my square is about 10.5 centimeters by 10.5 centimeters. And we're going to fasten off. And to fasten off, we'll chain 1. And we're going to cut our yarn about this long. And then pull through with your hook and tighten the knot. So here's my square, and we also have to weave in our loose ends. So we're going to thread the loose end into our yarn needle. And then what we're going to do is we'll work under the stitches in the last round we just made, and we're going to work under the base of the stitches, so at the bottom of the double crochets here. And I always weave in my loose ends in the back so it's less visible. So we're going to weave our loose end down to the base of the last round. So we'll just go under loops to get down to the bottom of the double crochet here. And then we're going to go to the right under these stitches. And make sure your yarn needle isn't poking through. And once you've gone across a little bit, we can pull the yarn through. Make sure you don't pull too tight. And then we'll go down to the round before it, to the base of these stitches. And we'll go under the stitches in this round in the other direction, so back towards the left. Again, our needle isn't showing through, and we're going to pull our yarn through. And then we can snip off the excess. And our loose end is hidden. And this one that we carried across, whatever's left, we can just snip that off. And then for the middle one, we want to make sure that we tighten it all the way so there's no hole in the center. And then we can thread it into our yarn needle. And then we can just weave it under the first round. These stitches are pretty tight, so you can also go under the second round if you want. Since these stitches are really tight, I wouldn't worry about weaving in the entire thing. We'll cut our yarn, and all of our loose ends are woven in. And our flower granny square is finished. I will be releasing a tutorial on a tote using these granny squares very soon. So if you don't want to miss that, then subscribe and click the bell to get notified. And that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please leave a like or comment to let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.